Yes, folks, I am back. Best time of the week, but hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe 21 Love, here with another edition of Sports Overview of topics for you guys. Hope everyone's having good. So, Wednesday as I'm recording this, but you'll probably see this on Thursday. Either way, hope it's been a good 2-day slate as we're gearing on the road towards Super Bowl Sunday, which is Sunday. Tomorrow's NFL Honors. Later this month, we got spring training for baseball, so that's on the rise. Basketball, we're in a unique phase now as we're in the second half of basketball season. So that's joy. We got college basketball, which is going on. Always fun season, especially February. I have March when the madness takes place. But yeah, we're going to hang tight with some good topics today about Super Bowl preview and Reese Senior Bowl, as well as hockey. We got some stuff, but take some time. Thank you. And let's get going. So, first, let's talk about the Reese Senior Bowl. So, Senior Bowl is always a unique event, I would say, for NFL prospects going into the NFL draft, because it's not like a Pro Bowl of NFL prospects. It's about prospects that per se did not or do not have that much praise or going in to the draft and hoping to build their stock. So I'm not surprised that Michael Penix Jr. did not play. Bo Nix played a minimal amount, but so a few plays, threw a touchdown pass. Spencer Rattler was the MVP. He had a very good touchdown throw in the end zone. He was named the Senior Bowl MVP. Did see some good and some bad of some of the other prospects. Lab McConkey, I think he's going to be a very good gem for someone in draft. He'll probably go on day 2, if not 4 or day 3, I should say. But he's going to be an interesting gem for whoever in the draft. Luke McCaffrey, he made some play in the game as well. But overall, it's about a filling out, seeing who looked well and who needs improvement. But it's like Joe Milton, he did make some nice throws, but we can tell he has work to go. Yeah, it was a unique, fun-filled game. Wasn't too much, but, was certainly fun to look at. A little bit of pivot. Now we'll go to Joel Embiid. The reigning NBA MVP, is now basically out for we could say undisclosed amount of time, but at the same time, he'll be out for a while, we could say, as he had a meniscus injury last week when his knee was falling on, and, it prompted some triggerment or some outrage in the NBA community in doing so, because the NBA started or imposed this rule in the offseason, how you have to play a minimum of 65 games to be eligible for regular season awards at the end of the regular season. So, Joel Embiid certainly has missed his time and certainly won't be eligible. That's for one. But as far as the rule, look, 82 games certainly is a lot. But they've been doing it, obviously for a number of years now. It's one of those things which you come back to. Now, of course, it depends, what your interest is in as far as sports, and just like where you're in tune to. But 82 games, that's certainly a lot to digest for one NBA team for a season. But, these athletes, they have an off season. They play a number of dollar dues to play the way they play. And when you consider that people have had backlash about the whole load management criteria the last number of years in particular, it makes sense. It makes sense because, look, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, there's that person out there that's going to say, look, this guy might not be a season ticket holder, but he did travel to see this guy play and see this guy. And he's not playing. He's sitting. Now, if he's injured or he has a personal reason, that's one thing. But yeah, just sitting. Now, at the same time, the ultimate goal, because it is a long season, the ultimate goal is to be healthy among the playoffs and compete for a championship. So, you got two different perspectives. But considering the amount these athletes get paid and the off season and just the tradition, I do agree that 82 games is a lot. However, I'm not I'm not an athlete. I'm the current player. I mean, I only played, Ivy League, or not even Ivy League, lower league when I was very young sports and, high school football. But as far as pro athletes, tradition, doing these however many games, there's standard. And that's how it is. But as far as Joel Embiid goes, it's a harsh way for the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, they are still in playoff contention. But when you look at before the injury, they were the 3 seed, and now they're trickling down to the 5 seed. And with Embiid not 100%, you don't want to be in that or coming up of an injury where you're not sure to make it a win and in scenario in the play-in tournament. It's certainly playing on fire, but as far as the championship hopes, they need Embiid because although Tyrese Maxey, he's done a hell of a job this year, Tobias Harris and crew, they have done a good job. They're not a championship team without Joel Embiid, period. And even with they've been kind of fringe championship territory with Embiid. So we'll see. I do gotta praise, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks because prior to the game, first Lakers the other night, Saturday night, they were on a 9-game win streak. And, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, that OG Anunoby trade. Now, Jalen Brunson did have a scare on his ankle, but they said it's not severe of an ankle injury. But still, ankle injuries are tricky. It's like Jimmy Butler, when he had his ankle injury in the playoffs against the Knicks, he wasn't quite the same. He was still Jimmy Butler, but he wasn't Jimmy freaking Butler. So, I'd say right there. But, yeah. So, yeah, kudos to the Cavs who have climbed up to the 2 seed behind the Boston Celtics. We'll see. And New York Knicks. And it is the big one. Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers. 49ers, I believe, are favored. I have to check really quick. So let's see. Super Bowl odds. That's the funny thing. You can always check and be like, oh, let's see. Da da da. Because I do expect the Niners to be favored, but not by much. 2-point favorites are 49ers. Interesting. So, let's look at it. So, because these two have had some odd journeys to get to this point. The 49ers, this season was certainly going to be interesting seeing how Brock Purdy, how could he in the offense follow up, because he knew the weapons. He just didn't know if it was going to be stable for Brock Purdy to continue to produce. And thus, this year, Brock Purdy has pretty much been as stable for the offense as he was in his not as much time last year. Now, there were bumps in the road. That 3-game losing streak after starting 5-0, they squashed the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football 42-10, and then they lose to the Browns. Trent Williams gets hurt. Debo gets hurt. McCaffrey gets hurt, or gets banged up, I should say. Then they lose to the Vikings, and then they lose to the Bengals. But they managed to turn around, and to the end of the season, their only hiccup when Brock Purdy was playing was against the Baltimore Ravens on Christmas night, and that was a snowball effect where it just looked like everything was going wrong for the 49ers and their offense. Now, first, the playoffs haven't been pretty for the 49ers, we can honestly say. I mean, winning by 3 against the Packers and then losing by 3 to the Lions. Brock Purdy's haters are gonna be oohing and awing over both playoff games, because honestly, Brock Purdy didn't play as well to start, but the game-winning drive orchestrated by Purdy at the end of the game against the Packers, and then the second half for the offense against the Lions, when it woke up with a couple of opportunities installed by the defense, and Dan Campbell's obviously calls aggressiveness. 49ers were able to pull off when two wins, when it's totally possible they could have been a first round exit or a one and done. Now they're here. Kansas City Chiefs. Much different road. Much different road, we could say. Now, they did have some bumps as well. The Super Bowl champion, the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs from last year. Now, there was a bit of skepticism to start the year. You know, Travis Kelce, he hyperextends his knee. You never know. You don't know how significant a just thing like that could impact a player like that. So before the opening game for the Lions, he hyperextends his knee, and then Chris Jones, the contract situation. So then they lose by one, albeit some drops certainly affected that game. But credit to the Lions, doing what they had to against the artillery and the guys they had to face. So they lost on opening day to the Lions. They came back the following week in Jacksonville and won not impressively as far as offense, but as far as defense, that was really when we kind of got introduced to this Chiefs defense. We to hone the Jags, and we think Trevor Lawrence and the Jags offense is going to take a step up, and Trevor Lawrence will be a MVP candidate. It's not the case. Now, there were some miscues and stuff in that game as well, but albeit the Chiefs held the Jags to 9 points on the road. And then there was some moments of good, but then you saw throughout the season that the offense wasn't really the same as it has been the last couple of years. Because we have been seeing a lot more throwing and, etc. But one guy who doesn't get as much love as he did last year in his contribution to their run certainly played a good part this year as well. Isaiah Pacheco, last year, the later on pick, or might be undrafted, nonetheless, here comes this young guy who has a physical style of running. He's not a huge running back, but he has some size. And, with his running style, it's fun, it's good, it's demanding, and it adds a different part. It adds a bit of relief because throwing the ball, we haven't been, or at least the Chiefs haven't been able to rely as heavily on it in years past. But the other thing, the offensive line has done a heck of a job this whole season. Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, who is arguably the best center in the league, and then Trey Smith, those three in the middle are really the architects of this running the ball, this more physical type of style. Donovan Smith, he's done his job. Jawan Taylor, I have to say, at times, he can be good, but overall, I think we can say that if he has earned his big money deal that he was given in the offseason? I don't think so. I think he's been okay at times, or solid at times, but the guy that's been leading the league and holding our penalty calls, get the gist. But like I mentioned about Pacheco, the other thing that has benefited the Chiefs is the development of this defense. Chris Jones, him being back, and then George Karlaftis, his contribution, that has been very good as they have had a duo on the defense line. That's been a unique development for them, along with when Nick Bolton wasn't healthy all year, or wasn't fully healthy all year. You had Drew Tranquil step up. You had Willie Gay in and outs. And then the secondary, young secondary, but still solid with L'Jarius Sneed. He's been a solid pickup or solid get. Justin Reed, he's been a good asset as well in the secondary. Mike Edwards, him stepping up too. It's been solid. They've done what they need to do. Steve Spagnuolo, I'd say I'm a little surprised he doesn't get interview talks or just asks with the job he's been doing the last couple years with Chiefs, I will say. But yeah, throughout the season they've had hiccups as well. The offense has been different. I think we gotta say it's been different. Probably not as exciting, but it's been different. And then, we saw them not looking great, but good going into the playoffs. It's like that loss on Christmas to the Raiders, that was weird. That was certainly weird. But hats off to Raiders. And so then coming into the playoffs, it's been a unique ride through these playoffs. Because, well, for one, 49ers got the 1 seed in the bye. Chiefs had to play an extra game. So, they played the Dolphins at minus 4 degrees. And yes, it was outside for those reporters. Yes, it was outside. And then, as opposed to going to Buffalo, that was certainly a more exciting game. And then holding the Ravens to 10 points in Baltimore to get to here we are. Now, obviously, the best game offensively was against Buffalo. Reason, if the Dolphins were 100% healthy on defense, I think it would have been more impressive, their offensive day. But because of those injuries and, offense did what they could, and holding out the Chiefs to field goals and all that time, but their defense just clamped down on the Dolphins, just clamped down. And then, yeah, it was more exciting for the Bills, albeit to 17-10 against Baltimore, where the offense did not look great. They did enough, though, and their defense certainly held on. So, nonetheless, here we are. Chiefs, 49ers again, 4 years to Super Bowl 54. Now, some similarities, some differences to that game. You know, for starters, you still got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on the Chiefs. And you got, for the 49ers, you know, you still got, well, Bosa was in his rookie year, and then Kittle, you got Armstead, now you got McCaffrey. I mean, I believe that was Joe Staley. Yeah, I think that was Joe Staley's last game as well for left tackle. So now Trent Williams. There are a number of differences in this game. So it's going to be interesting. Brock Purdy instead of Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, Travarius Ward in that game played for the Chiefs. Now he's playing for... Now he's playing for the 49ers. You know, you got a lot of... It's like the Chiefs you were kind of rooting for in that game, now you're kind of rooting against them, at least in the eyes of the public. Although I saw some videos in media writing class that okay, I think we should talk. I don't want to talk about a lot, but obviously one of the big differences for this game is Miss T.S. Taylor Swift's. Yes. It certainly would have been funny to see if the Lions had won against the 49ers, because then we got Eminem versus Taylor Swift as the two teams that are backing. But nonetheless, I've already commented about it enough, but we all know about conspiracy theorists, and nonetheless, look, here to talk about the game now, but 49ers 2-point favorites. I am not surprised they are favored. Honestly, you could have seen it either way, because 49ers have had more star power, or have more star power on their defense. However, the Chiefs' defense has been kind of looking better of the two the last few weeks. So, on one hand, you can say the Chiefs' offense needs to play better than they did against Baltimore. On the other hand, 49ers defense needs to buckle up. Needs to be careful. Because, yes, we can say that, you know, they're not the same, they're different, but things happen, and then play there, and then we see Kelce go free against the Bills, and then it just opens up the scoring, and then you get the gist. What's going to come down to is Brock Purdy and this offense cannot start slow. They need to start fast. Otherwise, you just don't know if they can muster up another comeback again. I mean, they found a way against Packers, great. They found a way down 17 against the game line, seemed great. Now, do I think they could do it versus the Chiefs? Sure. But, I mean, it's like, why tempt that fate again? Why? So, 49ers offense needs to start strong. McCaffrey needs to look well. They need to find ways to go to Kill, go to Ayuk, go to Debo. They need to just relax. It looked like at times Brock Purdy looked tense during the Lions game and just needs to relax. Nonetheless, I do expect this to be a fun-filled game. Yeah, it's going to be a unique test, certainly. Ultimately, I'm going to say 49ers 26-21. That's what I think ultimately. It's going to be a unique game. But, yeah, 49ers get their revenge from 4 years ago, and Brock Purdy's doubters can just have an egg on their face. You know, although you can certainly go it to Chiefs way, and then conspiracy theorists will be out there quicker than a hiccup. Anyway, that's Super Bowl thoughts for you. So next up, where I go? Oh yeah. So sticking with football, we did have 3 unique names retire the other day. Not huge names, but unique names that you gotta talk about in their stories, how they certainly contributed. As Rex Burkhead, Ryan Jensen, and Teddy Bridgewater, they retired officially from the NFL. All were, I'd say the best at his position was definitely Jensen. Jensen, one of those guys, he just was a dog, just was, he was fierce. He's a guy you don't want to mess with, like talk trash. He could get down and dirty with the best of them. He certainly aided well for the Ravens for a number of years, and then culminating going to the Buccaneers, and then being the big guy blocking for Tom Brady when they won the Super Bowl back in 2020-2021 season. But they all showed their glimpses. Jensen, very good for a number of years, but often overlooked. As an all-lineman, it's very easy to get overlooked because your quarterback gets all the attention. And then going to QB, Teddy Bridgewater story, certainly a weird one, a unique one certainly. So, because he was drafted by the Vikings back in 2014. He was doing well, wasn't a very good passer of the football. He wasn't very good quarterback, but it looked like he was doing well for them. And then that awful knee injury back in 2016, which prompted the Vikings to trade for Sam Bradford, and then, he did well, but they didn't go to the playoffs, and then Teddy, it would be a few years before he'd really get the starting run again. He got it with the Panthers and did okay. He got a unique deal. He started for a number of games for the Saints when Drew Brees was hurt, which really pivoted the stock again. And then he started a year for the Broncos. Nonetheless, he would do well, but as far as a starter, big starter, he wasn't like a top 10 starter. He's more like, I would say, 15 to 20-ish. But, Teddy, one of those guys where it's like, his injury sucked. He had to be on the down low for a couple years and took a while for him to start again, but he was able to. So was a fun story to play again. Back up for the Lions this year. Certainly could have gotten the ring if they managed to get past the 49ers, but the Lions didn't, so there you go. And I'd say the guy who certainly spoke most volumes to me as a Patriots fan, Rex Burkhead. As Rex Burkhead, one of those guys who's not a prominent figure as his position, but he's certainly skillful and certainly did his job very well, both running the ball and passing the ball or I should say catching the ball for a number of years in New England. Was in 2 Super Bowls, luckily won one with the Patriots, and certainly contributed for a few years. Patriots, their style for a number of years, multiple running backs, and he certainly contributed very well. I mean, those days with James White and Rex Burkhead catching passes out of the backfield, that was certainly something. But no moment bigger for him than scoring the game-winning touchdown in overtime for the Chiefs. First for the Patriots to send them to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship. That was certainly a big one. But yeah, all these 3 guys, all unique stories. And, Jensen obviously sucks. Certainly how he ended as well for him when see, that's the thing. Some of these players, they take these shots or something to for medicine or try to relax their pain on these injuries to come back sooner and don't think about the long run sometimes. And unfortunately, whatever he took for his knee back in 2022, it definitely hindered him last year as he didn't play last year, and unfortunately will not play again. And it sucks how those things go. I mentioned Rex Burkhead, so it's good seeing him play in Houston for a couple seasons before his retirement. But yeah, those three guys certainly will be missed, undervalued, but yes, certainly contributed well in the NFL. UFC Fight Night, Saturday night. A unique Fight Night co-main with two unique fights, both in the co-main and the main event, headlined by Jack Hermanson, the Joker, versus Joe Pfeiffer. Young stud, 27 years old, but is on a 5-fight winning streak, 3-0 in the UFC. Taking on Hermanson, who has not been steady his last two fights, I think you can say. He's been we know he's still very skilled, but unfortunately, he just hasn't been the same. Just hasn't in his last two fights. He won against Thiago Leites, and then he lost to Roman Aldunze. He lost to now the former UFC champion, middleweight champion, Sean Strickland, in a split decision. But I mean, he's at his ups, he's at his downs. I mean, we'll see. Pfeiffer coming off the Dana White's Contender Series. We'll see how skillful he is as he has another big test for Jack Hermanson. The co-main event, though, is a fight not to shy away from, could be fun as well. Dan Ige versus Andre Fili. Dan Ige, he's certainly a tough one, and fun to see fight in his time against Andre Fili, who at times he's certainly inconsistent, but he's certainly fun to watch when he's on. And of course, that's always the thing with UFC fighters and fighters in general. But yeah, this could be a fun fight as well. But we'll see how it goes. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it all. Might as well talk about some of the coaching decisions as well before we get out of here. So let's see. So Giants promote Mike Kafka to be assistant head coach. Jim Harbaugh has figured out his coordinators for his staff for the Chargers, hiring his former offense coordinator with the Niners, Greg Roman, served with his brother John Harbaugh for 5 seasons, I should say. 4 in Baltimore. And then now former Michigan defense coordinator Jesse Minter will be the defense coordinator on that staff. Cliff Kingsbury flipped from the Raiders to the Commanders. There was some miscommunication about the contract for the OC gig there. So you have to take an OC gig in Washington. Washington has the number 2 overall pick. They may very well take or find a way to take Caleb Williams to have them reunite in Washington. Jim Harbaugh's son, Jay Harbaugh, many were expecting, could wind up in Los Angeles with his father. However, it was not the case, as he has gone to Seattle to reunite with Mike McDonald as a part of the special teams coordinator there. So, there you go. Bill Callahan has signed with his son. So, his son's going to be his boss. Brian Callahan, new head coach in Tennessee. Bill Callahan, good hire, will be the offensive line coach. Luke Getsy with the Raiders. So, of course, with Kingsbury flipping to Washington, there was obviously a vacancy, and they decided to go with Luke Getsy, the former Bears offense corner. It's now the Raiders offense corner. So we'll see how all these things go. But coaching and stuff, we got the offseason near draft. We'll see how things go. I almost forgot about hockey, but I'm not going to do that. Hockey, as we had the All-Star games as well. Fun stuff. As Austin Matthews and his team, as he was the MVP over Connor McDavid's team. Hell of a job for him, but good job there. The Toronto Blue Jays, as expected, they had the top teams, or they most amount of players in the All-Star games. So, kudos there. Yep. Cool stuff for hockey. We'll see. There we go. But, so now we got all that way. Okay, thank you guys all for joining me today, guys. See you guys next time. Subscribe on this side. Got the subscription box. Got the notification bell, all that jazz. Like button. Leave thumbs up. Help out the video. Help out the channel. Subscribe. Like. Thank you guys all. See you guys next time. Peace. Much love. Yeah.